And now it's time to welcome our first guest in a segment we call Dog Mom Biz. Liz Murdoch is a dog mom. She's an animal communicator, and she is the voice behind a popular podcast called Talking with the Dogs. Liz uses her special gifts to help dog moms and dog dads better communicate with their animals, which is an awesome gift. And this is really an opportunity to expand the possibilities between human and dog relationships. And Liz joins us now from Los Angeles, California. Liz, thank you so much for joining us.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Liz, you are an animal communicator, which is a fascinating job description. So I want to know, when did your fascination and your love for dogs begin? And then how did that turn into a career of becoming an animal communicator?
Well, it was at kindergarten in show and tell, the value of show and tell, and a classmate brought a dog. And we were looking at the dog standing there. It was a standard poodle. And people were saying, oh, it's amazing. Its bow matches its purple nails, purple bow, purple nails. And the girl was in a purple dress. And I remember hearing this dog, and I had this knowing, I can do more than this. And I remember looking around like, oh my gosh, well, what else are we going to do? But there was nothing else. I went home and I knew I needed a dog. And that journey, like many of us who have stepping stones of interest and we try different things, led me to years later. I always had dogs. I won the blue ribbon in dog training. It was very natural and intuitive for me, always. But
wow,
it was
that is so neat.
Yeah, it was later when I stumbled across an animal communication class that I was like, I had this intense knowing I want to do that.
That is so interesting. And to think how these experiences really shape us. And in a sense, for that poodle to speak to you and to say, I'm so much more than just cute. There's so much more that I can do here. And now look at where you are today. You have the special gift, as you said, of knowing what dogs are thinking. But walk us through that process. How do you know?
So for me, there's an intense connection with the dog, and I will get mostly a knowing right away. Like I can tell when they're ready to talk to me. They sort of settle in through the eyes and a feeling. Dogs, when I'm in person, they'll climb in my lap, they'll lean close to me. People will apologize like, oh, my dog usually doesn't do this. It's like, it's okay. So once I establish that connection with the dog, whether it's in person or even over a Zoom call, I will talk to the dog and they stay looking at me like this. And I will get a knowing based on looking at them, or I'll get a feeling. Often dogs have nausea and I'll start to gag. I get a feeling in different parts of my body. I can see. So for me, it's very multisensory.
Wow,
and I just translate it.
And explain that to me. Is it a full body experience for you? You said it goes beyond just a thought. You literally feel it in your body.
Yes. And I can tell them. I was working with a client yesterday and I said to her, put your hand on your dog's abdomen. And I said, no, further up. And I could feel where I wanted her to do her hands for sort of a healing and to help her connect to her knowing with her dog. But I can feel it in my body where the animal is hurting. This particular dog, it felt so tight in my back. I start feeling it, or the necks can be tight. And it requires me to know my body. And that's why that part of connecting with ourselves and knowing ourselves, so I can differentiate. But yes, it's full body.
And have these feelings intensified over time? Is this something that you can train to do, or is it simply a gift that's given to you?
So it's a little bit of a gift, and it's a little bit of having different teachers in the beginning say, try this, do this, that has helped. But the gift is I can tune in so fast. I don't need to just meditate for 20 minutes, or I've done 25 in a day at events. So it's a balance of a gift and training.
Okay. I imagine, though, you've had people come to you saying, Liz, will you help me out? I want to better understand my dog. I mean, have you had failed attempts at helping people with this? What special qualities do you have to be successful?
So it failed. So, I mean, in my failings, lost dogs, it's between the dog and the person. So I haven't returned dogs, but I found clues that help them. Or we can't guarantee. I had a woman, I said, your dog, I described where I could see this dog. She never found the dog. Couple months later, they found the dog, and the dog had been in a situation that I had completely described, but it was just 5 miles away and they hadn't looked that far. So, lost dogs is trickier because it involves their actions to go do things.
Sure.
With students, they need to practice and they get frustrated. I have 2 students right now who are very good, and they've both, ironically, they started the same week, and where we are now, the same week, they've reached out to me pleading for help because they've run into situations that are really challenging for them personally. How do I deal with such and such when the client doesn't want to make an adjustment, and how do I separate? So that is, I wouldn't say it's so much it's a failing or a hiccup that we can have. I had that early on where you think you're going to get somewhere, but you have to understand that we have to close it out. We can't control other people's relationships with animals.
How important is it for you to just be all in and just right in the moment, just really focusing in and focusing on that dog? I imagine, just being able to shut out the world and just look in the eyes of that canine, that is just incredibly important as far as pinpointing what's happening.
It's the only way to do it. And even if the person says, I know what's wrong with my dog, that my dog has cancer, that comes up, that they'll say the dog's stomach hurts. And I'm like, okay, let's see what the dog is experiencing. And often the animal has a different priority than what the person has. So I had to push out my own world, but also what the other people want to share. I say, don't tell me anything. Let's get this first. And then they can balance it.
I imagine sometimes people fear what they don't know, or just we live in kind of a skeptical culture. So you're a businesswoman, you're a media personality, you have so much going on. I want to hear more about the Talking with Dogs brand. Walk us through some of the exciting things that are happening.
So I have these I'm really excited about because they're dog conversation starters. What is your dog's favorite thing? They're all prompts. And the reason I created them, Dog Talk conversation starters, is that when people stop to think, what is my dog's favorite food? For instance, they will find out that, oh, I realize I like to give my dog 5 different treats, but she just likes X. And when we start paying attention to what we know about them, we start connecting better. And it's a great stepping stone. First, they're fun, but everything I'm doing is trying to help people find new ways to understand what their dogs want and need so that it empowers them to take better care of their dog and have, clarity in their decisions. Does my dog really want to have this surgery? No, my dog would hate that. It's okay to just do this. Because people want to be supported making decisions.
Yes, and then you can use your time wisely and you can use your money wisely. Why buy 5 treats when you can buy just 1 and your dog's happy and everyone's happy? I love that you care so much about strengthening the bond between owners and their dogs. It's so sweet. What other products and services do you have, Liz?
So I do the individual chat sessions with people, and that's a great starter point. People say, do I need to buy a package or 30 minutes or an hour? I'm like, no, I'll meet you where you are, because I really want this to be about what works for them. So they have sessions with me where I'll help them figure out something about their dog. I tend to do more individual coaching and training than groups because it's so much more effective. So people will work with me one-on-one to develop their intuition, explore it. They might want to add it to their work that they're doing, or they've been curious. So I do a lot of that. I have a retreat coming up in October where I'm taking about 5 or 6 women to Italy for a personal renaissance. So ways to help people, different ways, meet them from products to services to work with me in a larger setting.
Can you give us an example of where you've really seen, say, a dog and their dog mom, like really break through like some major issues through working with them? I imagine that's the rewarding part of what you do.
It is. It happens a lot. Many situations, but one, it happens with euthanasia at the time when people aren't sure what to do, and then they suddenly feel in control, and they're so relieved that, oh, we did it this way, and they just have this piece that they say is so odd they've never had. The other one is with service dogs and rescue dogs, and there was a situation with many instances where people want to have a therapy dog, or I want my dog to do some kind of special work, and the dog is sort of resistant, but helping them to work with a dog that they're trying to mold into, say like a racehorse kind of situation. And as I help them adjust and tune in with their dog and what their dog's strengths are, it's just been amazing to watch these dogs really blossom.
Oh, that's so sweet. And to watch them tap into their passion. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, this is a parenting scenario, but if you really
Exactly.
want your child to be a soccer star, but they want to play lacrosse, it's like, what's the point, But just helping them find what they really love. So when you look at your dogs, same thing, don't force it, but what will the dog do? What an
Right.
incredible help. You mentioned euthanasia, and that's such a sensitive topic for dog owners. And I know you've worked with a lot of dog owners who are trying to decide, is this the right time? Is it not the right time? So walk us through that process of how you help them and how you determine if that is in fact the course that they should take.
So that's a great question. So I don't determine if it's the course they should take in any of my work, whether it's should you feed your dog something different or anything. I'm giving them input so clients can figure out what's best. But I call them like puzzle pieces. So
Sure.
I am not, I can't prescribe and I don't diagnose. So that's important. But what will happen is someone will call and they'll say, we're just so concerned about our dog. And usually at this point, if they've worked with me, but even if they haven't, they know I don't want to know the details. So I'll say, okay, oh, something's going on. I'll get familiar with the dog. And then when they'll usually want to admit, we're trying to decide, the vet said we should euthanize tonight, or it's time, but we just can't believe this. It's a shock. And I'll say, okay, let's take everything that you're thinking and hearing and see what we can do to get you into your knowing. And that's why I actually like working with the euthanasia situations, because I'm really empowering people to get into their knowing, where they see that, yes, this is so upsetting. And I just experienced a year ago with my dog. So it's very familiar. But
Yes.
I'll take them from, they know their dog isn't feeling well. They'll say, but he's acting okay today. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll share information of what the dog wants. Often if the dog will say, I'm not ready, then I will tell them that. I'm not withholding things. And I'll say, why are you saying that? Why is this important? What do you want your people to know about why you're not ready? And I'll go, oh, he wants a birthday party. And they'll say, oh yeah, we just canceled a birthday party. Or he wants to go, I see this like cabin in the woods. Yeah, we were thinking about taking him. That's our cabin. It's 2 hours away. We didn't know if we should make the drive. I'm not telling them they should make the drive. I'm saying, well, how would it look for you if you were to take the drive? What are the logistics? And then they start thinking it through, and then they get to their knowing, like, oh, we could do this. We could go tomorrow. We're going to go tomorrow. Okay. Or they'll say, whatever it is, you know what? He would hate that. I had a dog that I said, he really wants to smell like your walks. And she's like, but he can't walk. And I say, well, I see a wagon. And they're like, yeah, we have a cart. And that's where my words, I have to be careful, or that there is a translation that if I say wagon, but they mean cart, it's the idea that the dog wants to be pulled. And they'll say, yeah. And then they'll say, we can just take him down the walkway to the mailbox or whatever. But it's helping them get into their knowing. And they'll say, well, then what happens? Then what do we do? I'll go, do this. And once you've done this request from your dog, or sometimes it's multiple requests, you'll get closer to your knowing. And I always say, call me back, but they never do. They get to their knowing. And that's how it works, so that they feel like we know it's time.
Sure.
And it's the best gift to someone.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when emotions are involved and everything feels so heavy and out of focus, to have someone come alongside you and help you gain clarity or gain that knowing that you're referring to must be just
It's
incredibly helpful.
Yeah,
Now,
and I think, like, I just had a breath. In my work with the dogs, when I have shared something effectively for a dog and I know I'm done on a topic, I will have a breath. And my students always laugh. They're like, "There's the breath," because I'm done. And that's what I want to give to people, is that it's like a sense of relief.
yes.
And that's the essence of my work, is offering people an opportunity for a sense of relief when it comes to their dog.
Is this emotionally taxing for you at all when you're tapping into an animal's emotions and feelings? Do you ever feel that, or do you get energized by it?
I get energized by tapping in because I'm helping them. I'm using an ability that I have to give something to them, that so I shut it down. I learned very early on the importance of, I'm not going to follow up and say, "Well, what happened? Did you do ABC?" It's sort of like I shut it down and I leave it to them with the invitation to reach out. But no, I shut it down, and I understand. I had to learn this through lost dog cases, that this is between them and their dog, and I wish them well, and it's their life. And so I feel energized that I could contribute, and then I shut it down.
No, that's good. That's good to have those healthy boundaries in place. I know you have the gift of helping people to navigate so many different health issues. And what we just discussed is just a little piece of the puzzle. So, Liz, earlier you mentioned that eyes and that connection with the dogs, that it's like windows into their souls. So, do you believe that dogs have souls?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. I guess I do. I believe that there is that life force in them. I would leave it more at that. When it gets into the souls and even the afterlife, I don't have all the answers. And I think that just gets me fired up a bit, that we don't know the life experience of people, religions, and faith. We can have our beliefs. I can share information about a dog, and I will tell people that is their journey to explore as part of their life journey. So I just
That's great. That's the honest answer, right? Here's where I stand, and there's a lot of
Yes.
mystery, and that is fair. How can our
Mhm.
audience find out more about what you do and keep tabs on what's happening with you, Liz?
So a lot of people like Instagram to go through and see that I'm legit. I've been doing this for a while, talking with the dogs. My
Yes.
website, talkingwiththedogs.com, people go to, but I think Instagram, for anyone who's new to this, to feel comfortable and get to know me, is a great starting point.
Okay, Liz Murdoch with Talking with the Dogs. Thank you so much, Liz. Take care. Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. And be sure to join us Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our live show. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.